All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome back. The Confident Retirement Podcast brought to you by LPF Advisors. I'm your host, Kris Flammang here, as always. Joining me are my sidekicks and fellow resident advisors, Armando and Collin. Hey, guys.
Hey, hey.
So, we're continuing a series here that we designed specifically for Henrys. Today, we plan to break down smart money strategies for high earners, not rich yet. If you're making a solid income, but you don't feel you've got total control of your financial picture yet, you're in the right place, and this episode's for you. First, we got to go through the disclaimer. The information we're providing is our opinion and not necessarily that of this platform or our firm. We provide general info only on the podcast, not any customized financial or investment advice. Nothing should be construed as tax, financial, or legal advice. You should consult with your own professionals about your personal situation. All right, Armando. So, what is our topic today?
Yeah, thanks, Chris. So today we are going to be digging into lifestyle inflation. So that is the gradual habit of spending more as you earn. So, Colin, this seems like a big issue for high earners, especially those in early stages of their career. Why is that so sticky for them?
Yeah, no, I appreciate it, Armando. So this is a big topic, and we see this quite often. So for Henrys, their income might double in a short period of time, especially in professions like medicine, law, or tech. But instead of building wealth faster, your spending just expands to match your income. It feels like progress, but often your savings stay flat, or in a worst case scenario, they can even drop.
Yeah. So what does lifestyle inflation actually look like in the real world?
Yeah. So it's often subtle. You may not realize that it's happening. That's why they call it lifestyle creep. But maybe you upgrade your car as soon as you get that bonus, or you're renting in a nicer part of town. You start booking business class or dining out without thinking twice. But none of these things are necessarily wrong. But if you're not careful, they become habits that it's very difficult to scale back from, even if your income slows.
Yeah, you are right. They sure do creep up on you. So how can someone catch on this early, before they wake up 5 years later wondering where all their money went?
Absolutely. So, one of my favorite tools is something I call taking that money temperature. And clients that are listening are probably laughing because I talk about this all the time, but it's a quick self check in. And we have to ask ourselves, have my fixed expenses gone up in the last 6 to 12 months? Have I upgraded anything just because I can? And if my income dropped by 20%, would I be in trouble? Another question I ask is, am I saving a larger percentage than I was last year? So if you're answering yes to the first two and no to the last two, your money temperature might be running a little too hot. And it's a signal that, we might have to pause and kind of reassess what's going on.
Yeah, it's really important to be honest with yourself. That's a great gut check, those 4 points you mentioned. So if someone notices their temperature's rising, what's the move? What can we do?
Yeah. I mean, don't panic. We just rebalance and kind of reassess what we're doing. So we start by automating our savings. I recommend that Henry's aim to save anywhere between 20 and 30% of their gross income toward investments, retirement, and future goals. Once that's automated, then you can start to upgrade without any guilt.
Yeah, so I've always heard the cliche, pay yourself first and then take care of everything else. So the idea is invest first and then enjoy what's left.
So exactly, it flips the script from spend and then save what's left to save and then spend what's left. So that small change can lead to massive wealth over time without giving up the lifestyle that we've worked so hard for.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. So do you recommend that, people track every dollar?
I wouldn't say we need to go to the extreme of tracking every time we went to Dunkin' Donuts or Starbucks, but focus on the big rocks, the housing expenses, cars, travel, and automate the savings. Then don't sweat the smaller stuff like coffees or takeout. You're building a system that works for you, for your life and your future, essentially.
So what do you say to someone who feels like, I deserve this, I worked so hard, I've been hacking away. What do you tell someone like that?
Yeah, we hear that all the time, Armando. So the feeling is real and it's fair. We've worked hard and we want to get the nice things, but you must choose between, what you truly value. So if you can afford almost anything. If you're in that high income bracket, you just can't afford everything at once. So take your money temperature, get a clear picture of your priorities, and upgrade intentionally, not automatically.
That's good advice, guys. Collin and Armando, that was some gold right there. I especially like the money temperature method. I know there's been times in my life when I've been running a little bit hot, but thankfully I have a significant other that
keeps you in check,
brings me back to earth. So I think that'll stick with a lot of people. So our listeners, if your income's rising, if you're in that Henry group, make sure your awareness is rising with it. Take that temperature every few months, automate your savings, be intentional with your upgrades. Like they said, don't just do it because you can, do it because it's important to you. And that's how you go from a Henry, a high earner, to truly wealthy, because it's not really what you make, it's what you keep that counts. So we want to thank everybody for tuning in to the Confident Retirement Podcast and our current series, Smart Money Habits for Henrys. If this episode hit home, share it with a friend or colleague who's climbing the income ladder. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast. If you wanted more information, you can reach out to us at www.lpfadvisors.com. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time. Take care and be well. Thanks, guys.
Awesome. Thanks, Kris.
You've been listening to the Confident Retirement Podcast with Kris and Mark from LPF Advisors. For more information on them and retiring confidently, please visit lpfadvisors.com. If your ears are pleased and your mind is now at ease, do share the program with your friends and subscribe wherever podcasts are found.